join me in welcoming John Anderson. What's the big idea?
I left a large high school in the Midwest to come back east to college, and I was feeling pretty good about myself until I got my first grade, a D-. I was devastated and thinking I'm just going to have to head back home, but I did talk to the professor who said, Mr. Anderson, you know all the facts, but there's no big idea. And that became probably the most important piece of advice I've ever gotten, and it kind of defined my career as an artist and an architect. So what is a big idea? For me, it's a flash of light. It's an intuition that comes out of my field of consciousness, maybe unbidden. It's big or small, it's provocative, it's scary, it's humorous. It doesn't depend on reason or rationale. It doesn't depend on dogma for sure, probably not even past experiences. And it is, in the sense, in the end, what if and why not? What you've just seen is the Winooski Dome, of course, water tower project at UVM, and the wing building. Now, I'm going to try to tell you a few things about how this concept of big ideas for me guided my work. I was interested in endangered buildings and put on some shows to show how if you put a single building that maybe is not very well loved into a bigger context, it changes what you might think or see in that building. The beloved Moran plant felt like a Mayan temple that was very hard to get around, and so I thought, well, what if the landscape went up and over it, since it was so hard to get around it? In dealing with residential projects, I like to think about what can you strip a house down to the very minimum, and I wondered whether a 20-foot long red wall, freestanding wall in a field, could supply everything that people might need in a house. Another housing idea was this couple, each one is standing in the middle of a 10-screen outdoor movie theater, and one spouse is looking at images of the other spouse and vice versa. So the house here becomes just pure image. And state capitals, Vermont, the state capital of Vermont, instead of the mundane things that happen today, perhaps in the future, every citizen will come to a site, rearrange hay bales and slabs of white marble, and that's your duty as a citizen. The state capital of Nevada would be legislators and concerned citizens get inside a glass cube which goes down a road, and they're required to make decisions when they hit these goalposts. So a really tough one would be like a 12 goalpost problem. One of the dearest, most appreciated and dear to my heart project was a renovation for the firm Kelleher Sametz Volk, and I proposed to them that we draw three-dimensional space, not two-dimensional murals, but beyond that, to actually create space with drawing using carpenter's tools and building materials. And here on this one entrance, I was trying to torque or twist space with the drawing, and I brought the lighting fixtures into it. The client, okay, here we go, mirror cube landscape. My proposal was 8-foot mirrored cube in every one of the cities, towns, villages, gores in Vermont for a total of 255 mirrored cubes. They would be placed in sites that would be unique to that town or very specialized, and we would try to create a mirrored image of the entire landscape and urbanscape of Vermont. So I did 17 prototype sites, and you'll see the first one. This is Shadow Lake in Glover, and here the cube would have footings under it so that when the ice melted in the summer, it would be sort of hovering right on top of the water of the lake. I-87 and Waterbury, you can see the cube up there. It's very important that that each town somehow is described by the placement of the cube. And here, it relates back to the interstate and the flow of energy. A classic town green in Fairhaven, Vermont. And one of the beautiful things about the cube is that it will disappear in various lighting situations and weather, and that makes it kind of a ghostly thing that comes and goes, which sort of adds to the interaction. Coxbrook and Moortown, some of the cubes would be placed into the landscape, so you'd have to walk to them. So the progression of coming on the cube and how you see it at different points becomes very important. And my favorite, probably of all, the App Gap, a very dangerous and scary place in the winter, and the cube itself is really reflecting both the east and west sides of the whole state. When a eco-tourist or art visitor sees a cube, they're seeing themselves in it, and that creates hopefully a new consciousness about your relationship to that landscape. Here we are in a parking lot in Williston, and of course, to be democratic and to do a true overall picture of Vermont, you would be in various urban situations. So I leave you with two thoughts. Have a lot of courage about your own big pictures. Believe in it, hang on to it, don't let you be too swayed, and what if and why not? Thank you.